Here's the real shocker. Prince William isn't just frustrated, he's completely over it, and we're not talking about the usual cool, restrained royal irritation. This is full-blown, don't even speak to me territory. Why? Because King Charles, in a move many insiders have called borderline delusional, is reportedly trying to broker a peace deal with Prince Harry. Yes, after everything, the Oprah tell-all, the Netflix documentary, the bombshell memoir, Charles is apparently still keeping the door open for his youngest son. Meanwhile, William is practically ready to slam that door shut, triple lock it, and toss the key into the Thames. This peace summit didn't unfold in secrecy. It happened at the Royal Overseas League in London, just a short walk from Clarence House, King Charles's preferred sanctuary of calm. Very on brand for Charles, trying to keep things composed and formal. Representing Harry were two of his remaining staffers, Meredith Maines and Liam Maguire, an oddity, considering how quickly Team Sussex burns through employees. On the King's side was his trusted aide, Toby Andre, but William, nowhere in sight, not a single representative showed up on his behalf, and that was no scheduling mishap. That was intentional. A loud and clear message. In William's view, this isn't diplomacy, it's delusion. To him, Charles isn't reconciling. He's capitulating. He's offering an olive branch to the very man who publicly shredded the family's reputation, exposed private details in a globally streamed documentary, and weaponized a memoir to air the firm's darkest secrets. Now Charles wants to sip tea and hug it out. William is absolutely furious, behind palace doors. Insiders say William's language about Harry is beyond blunt, some even describe it as pub fight level harsh. One royal source told Page 6, and this is a direct quote, "William absolutely effing hates Harry. Their words, not ours." But for William, this isn't only about Harry, this is about the crown. The future King of England, whose head will one day bear the weight of the monarchies being cut out of a deal that directly affects the institution he's destined to lead. To William, any agreement struck without his involvement is pointless. It's like trying to negotiate peace in the Middle East and leaving out the US president. He's not just Charles's son, he's the heir. His approval isn't optional, it's essential. What truly lights the fuse, though, is Harry's betrayal, not just of William, but of Catherine. In his book Spare, Harry painted Kate as cold, rigid, even jealous, a caricature ripped from a bad period drama. And for William, that was unforgivable. Especially now, after Kate's battle with cancer became public and deeply personal. That book tore open wounds that may never heal. William read those pages. He saw what Harry said about the woman he loves, the mother of his children. That was the final straw. There's no path back from that kind of wound, not in this family, maybe not in any. Meanwhile, Charles seems to be living in some idealistic, monarch meets grandfather fantasy, where healing and hugs will fix everything. But William sees through it. He doesn't view Harry's return as heartfelt, he sees it as strategic. In his eyes, Harry isn't coming home for closure. He's broke, his popularity is slipping, and he needs a royal rebrand before the next big tell-all or documentary. A reconciliation with Charles gives the Sussexes the legitimacy they need to stay marketable. William won't play along. He won't be a prop in what he views as a calculated comeback tour. His outrage isn't just about about protecting the monarchy. This institution has endured everything from abdications, to divorces, to scandals. But this is different. Harry and Meghan didn't just burn bridges, they sold the ashes to Netflix. And William, with his sharp understanding of public perception, knows that this saga isn't just about family, it's about legacy. And right now, Charles looks like a monarch willing to risk it all for a PR boost with a son who treats the crown like a storyline. Even more concerning to William is that Harry doesn't hide the playbook anymore. Every statement about forgiveness or rebuilding feels tailor-made for headlines. William sees it all as manipulation. Harry says one thing in public and does the opposite behind closed doors. Whether it's leaking family conversations, throwing relatives under the bus, or turning his brother's hairline into a punchline, Harry's loyalty always seems to come with a side of strategy. What hurts most is that William remembers a different Harry, the one who made him laugh, who stood beside him during engagements, who shared the unbearable grief of losing their mother, but that brother disappeared the moment Meghan entered the picture. And now, what remains is someone William doesn't even recognize, someone he believes is being controlled, scripted, and managed. Charles, for his part, is torn. As a father, he wants resolution, but as a monarch, he should know better. Kings aren't supposed to make emotional decisions. They lead with wisdom, not wishful thinking. William believes his father has forgotten that. The monarch sets the tone for the nation but also for the family. And when that tone is all softness and second chances for someone who's publicly damaged the institution, what message does that send to the next generation of royals? Then there's Catherine. Publicly silent, but behind closed doors, her silence speaks volumes. Her portrayal in Spare wasn't just cold, it was cruel. And now, after revealing her health struggles, those wounds cut even deeper. William doesn't forgive that. He won't forget that. The thought that Harry could just waltz back into the fold after all of it. Unthinkable. When Queen Elizabeth was alive, she dealt with chaos through poise and precision. She once famously said, "Recollections may vary," a diplomatically devastating way of calling someone a liar. William, in many ways, carries that same approach. No melodramatic press releases, no interviews designed to go viral. But one thing is crystal clear. If Charles wants to extend the olive branch, he'll be doing it alone. And let's not forget the Sussexes still use their royal titles. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex. His and Her Royal Highness. Despite walking away, despite promising otherwise. To William, that's the final insult. You can't trash the system and still profit from its symbols. That's like quitting a company, torching your boss online, and still demanding employee discounts. So now the royal chessboard is set. Charles wants healing. Harry wants relevance. Meghan wants attention. But William wants accountability. This family rift isn't just personal anymore, it's political. William knows every photo, every handshake, every nonverbal cue becomes global news. And when the King of England even entertains a quiet deal with a couple who nearly shattered the monarchy's image, that's not just tone deaf, it's a dereliction of royal duty. Legacy is everything to William. And that legacy doesn't include a reunion tour starring two ex-royals with a Netflix contract and a grudge. While Harry and Meghan film in Montecito and pitch their next docuseries, William is quietly planning the future of the monarchy. A future that's modern, streamlined, and unshakably firm. There will be no room in that vision for part-time royals or disgruntled defectors. Behind the palace gates, whispers of stripping the Sussexes of their remaining titles are growing louder. It's political TNT right now, but William is playing the long game. When he becomes king, expect swift changes. The HRH styling, gone. Duke and Duchess, likely to follow. Invitations to royal events, revoked, because in his mind, you don't get to insult the family and still cash in on the family name. And then there's Meghan. William sees her not as an innocent bystander, but the architect of Harry's unraveling. It's not just the strategic interviews or the headline-chasing maneuvers. It's the calculated way she's distanced from the rest of the family while keeping just enough royal branding to keep them relevant. When Harry speaks, William hears her voice. And that's why any deal with Harry is, in William's mind, actually a deal with Meghan, and deals with Meghan don't last. But this isn't just about revenge or protocol. William is also thinking, like a father. George, Charlotte, and Louis are growing up under the same blinding spotlight Harry claimed to flee. William wants to shield them from that chaos. He wants to build something stable, noble, worthy of their inheritance. And that can't happen if Harry keeps throwing grenades from California under the guise of truth. To Charles, all of this is still about family, about reconciliation before time runs out. But to William, this is business. This is duty. He doesn't have the luxury of thinking like a son or a brother. Every move he makes now echoes into history. He's seen what happens when sentiment clouds judgment. The Queen never let emotions compromise her position, and William is prepared to lead in the same way. The palace remains silent. That's tradition. But behind the scenes, the divide is permanent. William and Harry aren't just on ice there. Done. No PR handshake, no statement from sources, no public photo op can change that. The final break wasn't the interview, the Netflix series, or the memoir. It was the belief that Harry could walk back into royal life without ever taking responsibility. That's the line William refuses to cross. So, if Charles still wants peace, he'll be making that journey alone. Because when William ascends the throne, peace won't come through hugs and photo ops. It will come through structure, through boundaries, through consequences. The era of royal indulgence is ending. And for Harry and Meghan, that door is quietly and firmly closing.